Hey guys, and welcome to CARNAGE and part 2 of our MX5.7 build. And we've got less than 2 weeks to put a twin turbo LS1 in this thing and get it ready for Red CentreNATS. Hey guys, so we're back at All Race Fabrications where the boys have been hacking away on our MX5. Now you may notice it is a different workshop because the boys had to relocate while they've been working on this car, and that's just been a massive job.
As you can see, we've got plenty of time. That's gold.
So what they've done is they've got a template here showing the driver's side tub. They've already done the passenger side tub. It's all steel. So they're going to do the driver's side tub now. And then they've got a 50mm rail running inside the original chassis rail, a 50mm box section, all the way through to the front of the car. It's going to get 4-link, 9-inch, 275 60 series tyres. Man, this thing is going to be fat.
We're on the way to Plasma Man, who today will be machining up some billet bits and pieces for our CARNAGE MX5.7 project. They're putting together a fully CNC machined billet intake manifold, as well as a custom engraved set of rocker covers. So check it out. G'day mate, how are you?
G'day, good, how are you?
Good mate, yeah. What are you up to today?
We're actually machining the LS1 manifold that's going to go on the twin turbo MX5 project. We just put a fresh chunk of billet on there, and we're going to turn that into the first side of an LS1 billet manifold in about 3 hours.
Obviously that's the V or the base of the manifold.
Yeah.
How many components in total?
We've got the V of the manifold there. We've got a bank of runners on each side.
Yep.
And we have a lid that goes on. So it's 4 main components. Then there's a couple of fuel rails involved. We have an adapter plate that goes on the front to suit what style throttle body you're running. I guess you could say there's probably 7 parts all up, but with 4 main components to the manifold.
And we're engraving a set of rocker covers for the MX5 too today, I hear.
Yeah, we are. Got the program ready to go, so we'll get cracking.
Awesome, let's hook in.
Sounds good. And as you can see, I've got the CARNAGE logo there that Scotty sent to us on the email. I just use that to create a toolpath and we can engrave from there. So we've got the rocker cover on the jig and the program loaded in. Here we go.
Well, we've got a whole bunch of really sharp looking billet aluminium car porn together for the MX5 today here at Plasma Man. We'll get these in the mail down to Scotty and get them bolted up to the MX5.
Hey guys, so we're just over 3 weeks out from Red CentreNATS and the dreaded man flu has got me again. So unfortunately, I'm just going to have to push on through. We've got no time to stuff about. So we've got a diff center here, right? So I'm going to put a mini spool in it. This is a 31 spline, 4-pinion mini spool. We're going to throw that into our diff center, and we've got a 3.5 geared 31 spline 9-inch. Cost us about 550 bucks, so it wasn't cheap. But the days of $150, $200 diff centers are well and truly done. 9-inch centers are not falling out of trees anymore, right? They are getting hard to come by. It's got genuine Ford gears in it, so they're going to be good gears. It looks to be in pretty good nick. So what we're going to do is throw in mini spool into the diff, and it should be pretty much right to go straight into the car. Normally I'd put it in a vise or something, but I don't actually have a vise set up here yet. It's a bit of an oversight. So anyway, we'll fix that at a later date. Come on, get in there. Okay, so we had to knock the crown wheel or crown gear off. so we can get at these pinions here, all right? As you can see, the mini spool has 4 holes in it for the 4 pinions, which will make it nice and strong, so each of those pinions will lock into the mini spool, and that's what helps lock it all up. So right now we've got to split this center so we can get at these little pins in here which are locking the pinions into place, all right? So we'll split that, drive the pins through and get our gears out of this. So you can see the 4 pinion gears, or spider gears as some people call them. That pinion shaft runs full length through there, so it's a locating pin there that we've got to push out, and then the actual pinion runs all the way. Now these ones are actually shorter pinions and they need a locating pin at either end. All this stuff is getting replaced by the mini spool. Job done. You can see it's starting to go through the center. So there you have it, guys. We've got our mini spool in there. Obviously we could go a full spool setup which replaces all this stuff, but that's a little bit more complicated to fit. At least with the mini spool, you just chuck away your gears, you throw this in there, and we've got the 4 pinion setup which gives us the added strength. I know a lot of guys run a similar setup in some big horsepower cars and they just do fine. So hopefully it'll be plenty enough for us, and if it's not, we'll just go for a full spool later on. Hey guys, so we're back out at Powerhouse Engines today with our LS1 engine for our MX-5. Yeah, I know, lots of letters and numbers, but that's what we're here for. So we've got our 5.7 litre. It's going to go in our MX-5, so we're going to machine this thing today, hopefully. So Trevor's out the back there lapping the main cap so we can get in the line hone, and we're going to bore it and hone it, hopefully get most of the machining operations done today, because we've got 3 weeks left until this thing has to be on the road for Red CentreNATS. So let's just get into it.
You reckon that's it?
Wow. Just a very little home. Okay, so here's where we're at. We've fitted the main caps, done the ARP main studs, also done the line home, which was pretty much the quickest we've ever seen because it was pretty close, but just cleaned it up, so it's perfect now. Right now, the block's getting decked, so the deck faces are 90 degrees to the bore, and then we can hone it for our CP pistons. And there's our CP forged piston. I'm holding it very carefully so I don't drop it on the floor. But yeah, these will be going into this bad boy, and then we're going to make some boost. All right, let's have a look at the heads. All right, so cathedral port heads, 241s, as you'll find on any 5.7 litre LS pretty much ever. So they'll do the job. We're going to put new guides in them, fill them with some nice stainless valves, some Ferreira stainless valves. The boys will put them in, as well as some K-motion springs so we can handle the boost of the boost.
On the edge of the seat right there, you've got a little bit of margin. That's at a 1.4 sort of seat. we went for a fairly wide seat so we can get a bit of
So the boys are facing the head at the moment. They're taking about 30 thou off the head. That'll lower the volume of the combustion chamber and increase our compression ratio. So we got sent out the wrong pistons, unfortunately, so we were going to use these CP flat tops, but turns out they're not the right pistons, so they don't have very much height there in the sort of first ring. So we've got these males now. They've got a dish, which means lower comp, but a lot more height there to that first ring, so better for what we need. Now we've got the right pistons. What's the difference between the two?
Okay, well, Scotty, the biggest thing is, well, they're two different brands. One's a CP,
Yep.
which is the one we're looking at here, and the other one over here is a Mahle Motorsport. Mahle is a brand I really like. They're always really good with the piston size. Like, you pretty much could hone a block without even having these here and know when they turn up, they're going to measure exactly what you think. They're always bang on. The biggest thing you'll notice, which is any power out of piston, which is a piston for a blown or turbo or whatever application, is the top ring land. You can see how on a naturally aspirated piston runs really close to the top, where because of the heat that's generated with a forced engine, we move the top ring down just to keep it away from where all the heat is. Yeah, a nice piston for a booster thing for sure.
So we don't have to take much out?
Nah, there's very little.
We didn't even have to bore this either.
That's
so.
right. With our lessers in the alloy blocks, generally they only go like a 5 or 10 thou over. Because this block's more than likely quite tapered, I'm going to have to probably manually override the machine just to hone out of the bottom. So what we'll do, we'll set up a bore gauge now. We'll see what the bore's like and what we're dealing with, and then we'll work out how we're going to do it. So yeah, the bore gauge that we're using here is in microns. So from 0 to 25 is 1 thou, 1,000th of an inch. That's how accurate it is. So our finished size is around at 0 here. So as it is at the moment, it's got 110, 20, 30, 140 microns to come out, which is, you know, sort of 6 thou. And at the bottom, it's actually pretty straight. Even with the torque plate done up, you can see at the bottom it's a little looser. So that's good. We've got quite a bit to play with. So yeah, we'll give it a run and see how she comes out. I'll just let the machine just do that automatically, and then just keep an eye on it, make sure it's honing straight. Yeah, that's honing nice and straight. We've still got that bit at the bottom that we're not worrying about. And we've still got, you know, over 6 thou to come out of it.
So how many microns do you want? You want it 0?
I just want it on 0, yeah.
G'day guys, we're here at GCG Turbochargers in Sydney, who are going to be taking a look at the pair of second-hand turbos that Scotty's bought for the CARNAGE MX5.7. They're XR6 turbo units, they're Garrett GT3540s, but they're a bit second-hand, so we're hoping the GCG can rebuild them and rescue them for us. Let's head inside and see how the magic happens.
So here's your turbos boards. This is our turbo technician Alex.
Alex,
Nice to meet you.
We'll give you some details on what to look for when you're buying a second-hand turbo. Sure.
So basically the biggest problem that we get is people walk in the door and they think they're going to save money by buying turbos from a wrecker. It's not the case. The majority of the time they come in, they look like this. GT3540s or 3582s as they're known, off a Ford Falcon, a lot of them struggle with oil pressure. So in this case it's exactly the same. Both your turbos are exactly the same. The oil starvation, it destroys the bearing cages and the bearings themselves, and what that does is in turn it sends it out of balance, and the wheels just plough the housings and write themselves off basically. So we're going to have to upgrade entirely to a new turbo, and what we're going to do there is we're going to step up into the GTW range
Now, this is a 3684, and it's basically the same geometry as a 3582, very similar sizes, but more modern technology, billet compressor wheel, larger compressor cover, things like that. We're gonna tell Scotty that he's absolutely wasted $50, and we're gonna throw them straight in the trash and move on with our new builds. Now, I've got a turbo here and a turbo here, both exactly the same. Now this one's in pieces, and what we're gonna do today is we're gonna assemble it. What I'm first gonna do is install a turbine wheel and the bearings. Do you wanna just come and hold that tight? You don't have to hold the turbine wheel, just the bearing housing. Okay. Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you. So the next step of the build is we're going to take this 0.82 GT35 turbine housing, using an adapter ring. We're going to do a high flow in the lathe, and we're going to make it work with our GDW 3684. With the bigger cube engines, especially when you're looking at an LS or something that you're going to bang limiter all the time, you're better off opening up the profile a bit.
Yeah, sure.
It just reduces that chance of smashing the housing.
Yep.
Just got that slight tickle there. We're ready to rock and roll. Basically all we've got to do now is assemble it and get it on the car. I've got them pre-tagged, so they're ready to go, so yeah, that's it.
Unfortunately for us in this instance, our second-hand $50 turbos were junk. Fortunately for us, Alex and the guys at GCG have hooked us up with this sweet pair of GTW 36s. Basically all that's left to do is ship them down to Scotty and see how they look hanging off our LS1 engine.
We're down at All Race Fabrications, where they pretty much finished what they needed to do on our MX-5. Unfortunately, the boys have been a little bit camera shy, so we haven't been able to show too much of the actual process, but have a look at the work they've done. It's been amazing. So we've got an LS sitting in here, LS1, Power Glide Auto, custom cross member. They've also done full chassis inside these rails. There is a full chassis inside these rails, all the way to the rear. Strange, single adjustable coilovers, triangulated 4-link, 9-inch, 31 spline. Look at that rubber. So much rubber. Man, that is looking fat as, and looks awesome sitting on the ground as well. So let's talk about the roll cage. Originally, we were going to do just a single hoop, the couple stays, and that was going to be it. But then we thought about it, and thought about it carefully. If this car actually goes on its roof with just that, everything else flattens and we're dead. So we decided we don't want to be dead, and we went for the full chrome moly Andra legal cage. So we should be able to run, well, the car's capabilities, we should be able to run into the 8s. That's going to be scary in this little thing. So the boys from All Race have done an awesome job. The car's getting picked up in, well, an hour or so. Heading over to MPW, where we're going to do the fuel system, the fab work for the turbos, the wiring, get the engine in, basically get this running so we can take it to Alice Springs in, well, 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks, we have to be on the road to Alice Springs. Oh man, my wife is going to hate me.
So I got myself a bit of a shopping list there at the moment. I've got at least 4 shops to go visit and get parts that we need. And then I'm going to leave Matt and Dave to do their thing. So they're going to start with the wiring of the Mazda. Item number 1 on the list. So the idea of this is going to mount a power steering pump underneath. That way we don't have to run one off the motor, and we can keep the power steering on the Mazda. So we don't have to go try and find a manual steer rack, which would be pretty much impossible, I reckon. Anyway, that's one item off the list. Back shop.
Matthew here from Alice Extreme, and we're here today wiring Project MX5.7 and doing a few other little bits and pieces that Scotty's thrown at us. So today, wiring up the ECU, as well as wiring up the power steering, as well as fuel pumps and thermofans and everything else. In doing all this, we're mounting the fuel tank and also the race pack and the e-boost, as well as wiring up the battery and all the battery cables and all that. So big job in hand. See how the weekend progresses and hopefully get back to MPW Monday morning. Now cut the centre out of it and mount the race pack in the middle of the cluster with the e-boost 2 out to the side.
So basically we've got the engine down at Powerhouse getting put together at the moment. I need the sump out of this so we can then attach it to our proper motor. The fake power glide, we're going to take that out of it so we can get the engine out, so we can get the sump out, so we can go onto our new engine, so then we can get the new engine in here with our new transmission, which is sitting down there on the floor, and put it all in and make this go boom, boom, boom. We've got about 12 days to make this happen. 12 days. Of that, your fake. There we have it. At least it's just a case. It's nice and light.
Don't scratch the roll cage. Clever. It's not clever, but it's funny. That should be in a bed at CentreNATS.
The block waddle. That's what you're doing there, Trevor.
Oh, we just put the K-line in this.
Hey guys, so we're in the engine room at Powerhouse and things are pretty hectic down here. We've got a full room, got engines everywhere, shit everywhere. Johnny's not happy, but that's it. We've got to power through this thing. Reese is putting our engine together right now, so we should have this thing together today so we can then get it in the car, hopefully tomorrow. 12 days left. done there, Reece?
You just have to weld 2 -10s on either side for the drains.
So they're turbo drain backs.
Yep.
There we have it, true Carnage style, in the back of the station wagon. Let's not hit the brakes too hard.
Hey guys, so we're back at MPW and this is where the MX-5 is going to stay until the job is done. We have 11 days left until this car has to be ready for Red CentreNATS. All right, and there's a whole lot of stuff to do. We've got a big long list. It's going to be the first of many lists, I think, because it's all those little jobs, you know, they say the last 10% take 90% of the time. So we've got a lot of shit to do. So today I want to get the engine and box in the car, all right? That is my goal for today, engine and box in the car, so then Adam can start doing the fab work for the turbos and all that sort of thing. But rather than me talk about it, let's just do it because, you know, 11 days. La, la, la.
The boys have thoughtfully put which side of the flex plot plate goes to which. So trans this side, and they've written engine on the other side. O ye of little faith. We can now get the car up on the hoist and slot our auto in from the back, from underneath, because they don't go in together.
Yeehaw! There's no doubt our MX-5 is going to make some power. With powerhouse engines and MPW on the case, this thing is going to make some snot. There's no doubt about that. So it needs a real transmission behind it. We can't just put a 6-cylinder power glide behind it and hope it's going to live. We need a real box. And for that, we talked to the guys at All Fast Converters over in WA. They know their stuff when it comes to heavy duty transmissions. They've hooked us up with this reed case power glide, built it up from a bare case. It's got all the good gear in it, good for 1500 horsepower. More than enough to cover our engine, I tell you. So 2-piece case, all right, so we can change the bell housing later on, put it behind another motor if we need to. We've got a converter here, obviously one of their custom converters, SFI approved flex plate, SFI approved bell housing, so explosion proof. I mean, this is the good gear. Trans brake, full manual, man, you can't ask for more, and our engine is going to love this thing.
Push it in. It's just got too high at the back. Yeah. You got it? All right, beautiful.
Wow.
So is this the stupidest conversion that's been done at this workshop?
No.
No, we had this taxi come in once.
Yeah.
Hello. Under a car putting a gearbox in. Hey? Nah, under street machine thing. The Miata.
So here's our Raceworks surge tank, all right? So basically we've got 2 pumps going there. So we've got 2 Walbro 460s. They flow a lot of fuel. So we're gonna run on E85 because it's really good for boost. So this will have no trouble supporting our 900 to 1000 horsepower on E85. This will do it easy.
Handbrake. Who needs that? Bye-bye handbrake. Alright, so we've got enough room that side now, so let's lose that part. Cool, alright. That's a job we can probably check off the list. My turbo. One off. So I reckon somewhere about there. Fortunately, they're going to space our wheels out a little bit. Not much we can do about it. We tested our wheel, and while it fits, it's actually hitting on the original studs of the wheel. If you look down here, you can see where it's hitting. Basically, we'll have to shorten those factory studs down so we can get our wheels on, which is a bit shit, but it's what's got to be done to make this happen. It's just one of those things. We're just going to make it happen. We got 7 days until Red CentreNATS. But all the big stuff's been done, all right? The tubs, the 4-link, the cage, the 9-inch, that's all been done by the boys at all Race Fabrications. We've got our powerhouse built LS1 up the front, Plasma Man intake that looks, it's just a thing of beauty, that is. And then what you can't see down in there is our reed case power glide by the boys at All Fast Converters in WA. The wiring's all been handled by LS Extreme. Those guys did a fantastic job. There's so much to do in this last 7 days, but we will get it done. 7 days, Red CentreNATS.